This podcast features first-hand accounts directly from the storytellers themselves. I, Mila, will be your guide, faithfully sharing their authentic narratives with you. Not having proof of my husband's death has led to significant challenges for me, especially because I have a daughter. Until now, I have been unable to secure anything related to her rights. The official registration of your child and obtaining an ID in Syria requires both parents to be present. However, I am not there, and my daughter's father is imprisoned, with his arrest not being officially recognized. This is causing substantial difficulties in properly registering my daughter in Syria, and it is hindering the assertion of her rights from her father's family. These challenges endure in Turkey too, where there is a frequent need for official documents from Syria.
Amal, a Syrian woman from rural Damascus, has endured arbitrary detention along with numerous family members. Her husband vanished in Syrian prisons, resulting in various challenges in substantiating their marriage and asserting her rights over their only daughter.
I am Amal. At the age of 23, residing in Turkey, I find myself mostly a widow with one daughter. My father fell victim to torture in prison, a heartbreaking reality captured in Caesar's photos. Following my father's tragic fate, my husband, arrested during his travel, remains missing, with no information for years, despite all our attempts for him. There exists no official government document acknowledging his departure. The grim truth is that those who perish in prisons are denied official recognition, as the government refuses to acknowledge their arrests. Even in my father's case, certainty about his demise only dawned upon us through haunting photos of his body. As for my husband's arrest, we are 100% sure, because we met a woman who saw him being arrested in 2017. Thus, we are absolutely sure of his detention. Add to that the checkpoint where he was apprehended is notorious for being irreversible. They do not even admit to their initial arrest. Moreover, you cannot go to search for him in security centers and police stations. Not having proof of my husband's death has led to significant challenges for me, especially because I have a daughter. Until now, I have been unable to secure anything related to her rights. The official registration of your child and obtaining an ID in Syria requires both parents to be present. However, I am not there, and my daughter's father is imprisoned, with his arrest not being officially recognized. This is causing substantial difficulties in properly registering my daughter in Syria, and it is hindering the assertion of her rights from her father's family. These challenges endure in Turkey, where there is a frequent need for official documents from Syria. Now, it has become increasingly challenging for me to travel with my daughter, as I am unable to obtain a passport for her. Despite Turkey granting custody to mothers in the absence of the father, I cannot secure a passport for my daughter. The complication arises from the fact that she is not registered in Syrian records, and even our marriage is not officially documented in court. The guardianship I have from Syria does not assist me, adding to the complexity of the situation. The consequences are profound, limiting our movement within Turkey and hindering any possibility of travel beyond its borders. In my current situation, with my husband's family residing in Syria, gaining their approval for decisions regarding my daughter and me is essential, given their official responsibility for my husband, as recognized by the state. My best course of action at this point is to enlist the services of a lawyer and initiate divorce proceedings. Following that, I plan to pursue custody and, ultimately, validate my marriage. However, as you can imagine, navigating legal processes, engaging in court battles, and securing legal representation demand a significant investment of time, effort, and financial resources. This situation is intricate, necessitating a specific sequence of steps, commencing with registration, followed by the formalization of the marriage, initiating the divorce proceedings, concluding the divorce, and finally, securing custody. These steps collectively involve approximately 4 to 5 legal actions. Regarding my daughter's documentation, specifically her passport and its registration in Syria, I find myself incapacitated to manage these affairs. Returning to Syria for these documents entails a considerable risk of rearrest. given my last arrest. The challenges I face due to my husband's absence and my inability to register my daughter have far-reaching consequences. While presented with the opportunity to travel to Europe, the stipulation of custody for my daughter posed a hurdle, and unfortunately, I could not secure custody until 3 months later. The impending deadlines set by authorities are looming, and any delay in submitting the required documents threatens to disrupt my plans, adding to my existing challenges. This delay has, so far, resulted in ongoing complications related to documentation. In addition, we encountered difficulties stemming from the loss of my parents. With 3 younger sisters, leaving Syria was complicated by their age, as they were all under 15 and lacking birth certificates, passports, or any form of identification. We encountered considerable challenges due to the absence of official confirmation of my father's death. Despite his demise in their custody, they refrained from documenting it officially. Since he is deceased, obtaining a document for the lack of a body becomes impossible, and we are without a medical report. Adding to the complexity, they deny recognition of the circulated photos portraying my deceased father. If I inform them about a photo showing his lifeless body, they dismiss it and refuse acknowledgement, insisting that this person is missing.
Attempting to resolve legal issues related to the absence of husbands exposes women to harassment and threats when approaching government institutions, often due to their association with the opposition and government decisions to freeze the assets of detained or forcibly disappeared spouses. These rulings pose substantial obstacles to the official registration of marriages and the proper documentation of children, which is crucial for securing their father's nationality. Acquiring custody rights becomes an even more formidable challenge. As a result, women, especially those with husbands detained or disappeared, encounter difficulties in registering their children, and in some cases, even formalizing their marriages presents significant challenges. This predicament not only deprives these children of their right to education by preventing their enrollment in schools, but also adds complexity to family reunification processes in countries hosting refugees. We have just heard the story of Amal from the podcast This Is My Story, produced by the Caesar Families Association.